Bastion Market Daily Live Forex Market Outlook by Trader Plato. Introduction. The purpose of the market outlook is for us all to have an elite mastery of the forex market to an advanced level. The forex market is a decentralized market that runs 24/7 from Mondays to Fridays. It has a market capitalization of approximately $8 trillion daily. Dominant and non-dominant market participants. At the top and in the middle of the hierarchy, we have the dominant market participants. That is the central banks and the large financial institutions. At the bottom, we have the non-dominant market participants. Those are the retail traders. In a nutshell, the dominant market participants make up of 95% of the market participants, while the remaining 5% are the non-dominant market participants. Those are the retail traders. This is according to research and data from the Bank of International Settlement, the Bank for Central Banks. Market mechanics. Market mechanics is a unique hybrid trading strategy that utilizes technical and fundamental constants to generate accurate trading signals. Power of 3 AMD chronological order. On Fridays, we have the accumulation phase. On Mondays, we have the manipulation phase. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have the distribution phase. Therefore, we do not trade on Fridays and Mondays, as these are the accumulation and manipulation phase of the market. Power of 3 AMD chronological order. The Asian session is the accumulation phase, the London session is the manipulation phase, and the New York session is the distribution phase. So we do not trade the Asian session, as this is the accumulation phase, but we are allowed to trade the London session since it sometimes overlaps with the New York session. Power of 3 candlestick pattern order. Unique candlestick reveal mass psychology that symbolizes the power of 3, the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Below are the images of the candlestick showcasing the mass psychology and movement of the market. We have the bullish and the bearish candlestick patterns. Liquidity and trap zones. All the market concerns about is liquidity and nothing else. Liquidity is basically points in the chart where majority of orders are pending to be filled. Thus, liquidity is the energy of the market. Without liquidity, the market will not move. These zones are as follows: yearly high and low, monthly high and low, weekly high and low, daily high and low, swing high and low.
Shall never end, and the market shall never end. The market is a place full of wonders. So as we know, as we do every day on the daily market outlook, we attempt to look out for the directional bias on each currency pairs. So let us take less than a minute to explain candlestick patterns for the sake of beginners who are new to currency trading. As you can see, price in this zone consolidating and making a series of lower lows, higher lows, and lower lows with a cluster of white candles. These white candles signify selling pressure. On this hand, as you can see, price rallying up, making a series of higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs. These green candles, this cluster of green candles, they signify buying pressure. Meanwhile, a candle that is neither green nor white, like this candle, it signifies indecision in the market. So let us get to the chart. Right here on USD JPY, we can see during the Asian session, and we can see price rallying up, making series of higher highs and breaking the whole high of last week and grabbing liquidity, so we make no conclusion on this pair. On USD CHF, we can see price during the Asian session, the buyers pushing price up. So right here we can expect a buy side liquidity for a sell, but if that is to happen, this candle forming right here during the London session, we expect it to close as a bearish candle, breaking the structure and breaking the low of the day. It is only then we can conclude that the US dollar will weaken further down. However, if that does not happen, we hold no conclusion on this pair. On AUD JPY, we can see a similar pattern to USD JPY, and price rallying up, creating series of higher highs. Then we make no conclusion on this pair. On Euro USD, we can see during the Asian session, price pushing down with the sellers breaking the low of yesterday. Following from this respect, a sell side liquidity for a buy, and if that is to happen, we expect this candle to rally up, break the high of the day, break the structure, then we can conclude that the euro will strengthen against the US dollar. However, if that doesn't happen and this closes as a sell candle, then we make no conclusion on this pair. On AUD USD, we can see a classic buy side liquidity for a sell. We can see the sellers in this, buyers in this zone. You can see the sellers right here and the sellers closing in on the low of the day, and we expect the low of yesterday to also be broken. Then we can expect that the Aussie will weaken against the US dollar. On GBP USD, we can see a similar pattern to Euro USD, with the sellers in this zone breaking the low of yesterday. However, if this will be a sell side liquidity for a buy, we expect this candle to rally up, break the structure, break the high of the day, and rally up and close as a bullish candle. Then we can conclude that the Great Britain pound will strengthen against the US dollar. However, if that doesn't happen and this closes as a bearish candle, then we make no conclusion on this pair. On NZD USD, we can see a similar pattern to AUD USD. We can see a buy side liquidity for a sell, buyers in this zone, sellers in this zone grabbing liquidity, and we can see sellers in this zone. So we expect the low of the day to be broken, the low of yesterday to be broken. Then we can conclude that the New Zealand dollar will weaken against the US dollar. On USD CAD, we can see price rallying up, rallying up. We make no conclusion on this pair. On Euro JPY, we can see a similar pattern to USD JPY. We make no conclusion on this pair. On gold, we can see a sell side liquidity for a buy. Mind you, the market buys to sell and the market sells to buy. Why does the market do this? The market sells to buy because for buyers to make money, they have to take money away from sellers, and for sellers to make money, they have to take money away from buyers. So right here, we can see the sellers in this zone, and if the buyers want to take money away from them, they spike the low of the day, induce more sellers, and push price against them. On GJ, we see a similar pattern to USD JPY. We make no conclusion on this pair. On silver, we see price rallying down. We make no conclusion on this pair. On USD CNH, we see price rallying up. We make no conclusion on this pair. On BTC USD, do the analysis on your own. Plan your trade, trade your plan, and most importantly, manage your risk and emotions. Have a peaceful week ahead. However, fundamentally, today is a Thursday, which is a distribution day and a good day to trade. However, not much of a setup we see, as one of the value setup we can see is AUD USD, where we can see a beautiful accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, and we can see a pattern forming on NZD USD. However, the low of the Asian session has to be broken to make a conclusion. Trade your plan, plan your trade, and most importantly, manage your risk and emotions.